to Stamping with Melva. My hair's standing on end. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And today I wanted to show you the amazing Pretty Pillow dies from the July to December mini catalog. They are part of the gingerbread and peppermint suite, and they make the most adorable little gift boxes, pillow gift boxes that you can use to put little trinkets and things in, treats or jewelry. They're not quite big enough for a gift card, but they're definitely big enough for some other lovely things. So I'm just checking out to see if I'm live and can see anybody online. I know my announcement was a little messed up this morning. It said I was going live at 6:30 p.m., which I don't do. I have my Stampin' Chat at 6:30 p.m. But anyway, here I am live, and I'm just going to switch over to my desktop, and we'll make some of these really cute pillow boxes. All right, so if you haven't noticed them, they are on page 9 of the July to December mini catalog, and they, as I said, they are part of the gingerbread and peppermint suite. And so today I'm going to make some of these using the gingerbread and peppermint designer series paper, as well as this great craft paper that is part of the suite. And of course, the ribbon, these great acrylic shapes. I think that's all I've got. And then of course the dies. All right, let me show you. So I've gone ahead and cut out some of the die, some of the pieces already. This is the main pillow box. So it takes almost, so this is the paper. It is 6x6 paper, and so it takes a good chunk of the paper. You've got a little bit left over at the end. But the cool part about these dies is that it's going to be hard to see. They actually cut out and score everything, and they even put stitching along the edge, which is really cute. So let's make one of the ones. I'm going to make one of the red ones first. So I cut one out in designer series paper, one out in cardstock, and one out in the craft. So let's make the red one first. This is a real red. So what you need is your bone folder. If I can find my bone folder, it gets pushed way at the back. Here it is. I have many of these bone folders, but whenever I go to use them, there we go. They're not here. So what you want to do is use your bone folder, and on the score lines, just make sure you're giving these a good crease. And then there. So those are the two major fold lines. And then on the front, you may be able to see the little lines. So there are kind of circular lines on either side, and that's what's going to allow you to fold these. Now I have some samples here, so this is what they look like. So this is the inside that folds in, and that's what I'm doing now. So if you just take your fingers with these and just kind of squeeze, you're not going to be able to burnish them very well with your bone folder, but I just find just take your fingers and just fold on the fold line and then push together. Works really well. And then that one, if you do this before you put it together, it actually helps you to adhere. I made 10 or 11 of these up using the Blackberry Beauty, I think is a designer series paper from the Beauty of Tomorrow suite for a sorority event. We do secret sister exchanges every year, and I put everybody's secret sister names in here, and everybody just picked one and had their secret sister. It was kind of fun. All right, so these will go together, and when you get ready to adhere, you're just going to use I use multi-purpose adhesive glue on these edges. Now, the cool thing is I went ahead and just cut out the top flap, this piece here, out of a piece of craft. And I'm going to adhere that so you've got just a peekaboo of color. I'm not going to trim this because I just use an old scrap. So I'm just going to go ahead and just trim it. And the lines are there from where you would typically score this. So now I've got a double stitching. So it will go on like that. And the other thing that come with the dies, let me just bring in the dies here because I haven't shown you these. So this is the main box. You just need one of these when you're cutting, but there are some great label dies. There's a tag die. So there's a couple of label dies, a tag die, and then there's a number of these that fit right into the top like this and will cut out. That's what I did on this one, which is I'm going to do again. Oopsie. So I went ahead and used this die here, and on this one I used designer series paper, and it just gives you can see behind below it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I meant to do this earlier, but I did want to show you this. So I bring in my, well, I won't be able to use that one. I've got my big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. So we'll just bring that in. This won't fit into the mini. It's too wide. All right. So you can just take this die and put it right on top. You could do this all at once when you cut out the whole die or the whole box. You could actually cut that out at the same time. It fits perfectly in there. All right, so take that out. So I just take that little piece of Post-it note tape off. I just like to use it. You can see that I've got these great little kind of petal shapes that you will be able to see. So now when I adhere this piece down, you will see the craft below it. It's kind of hard to see. All right, so I'm just going to take this one. I'm just going to take and use Stampin' Seal and just put that down right on top like that. Just want a peekaboo of the craft above it and get it kind of in. There we go. Like that. Okay, so now I can take my multi-purpose adhesive glue, and you want to adhere it on the opposite side. So just, I'm going to put some on there and some on this side. Don't need a ton. Just kind of holds it in place. Hold this. Do get your fingers a little bit gluey with this. So I'm going to hold this in place like that. And then it's easier to do one at a time. So just get one in place and then hold it together with your fingers till it starts to adhere. It doesn't take long to actually start, and then you can do the other one. Take your pick tool and just poke it down. There we go. That's better. And now I'm just going to hold that in place. So I'm going to make all three and then we'll decorate them. It's just easier to let them to seal a little bit and stick. Just hold it down till it starts to stick like that. And then this will tuck over like that. And if you just take your bone folder and just kind of run it and curve it, just kind of make a little bit of a curve, this folds over nicer. And the craft paper is just a little heavier. So now it holds in place. And then we're going to use some ribbon on this to hold it. All right, let's make the other ones up that I have. So as I said, I cut one in craft. I really like this craft paper. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold on the score line. If I could actually do that. There we go. Find the score line. And then fold on it and use your bone folder. And the same with this, I did it at the end, but I'm just going to take my bone folder and just kind of run it, just to kind of curl that front flap. It just makes it fold over nicer. And then take your bone folder and score on that one. Just give it a good burnish. And again, take your 2 fingers and just kind of fold this on that score line. And just pinch it to get it. You can't take your bone folder on this one, so just give it a bit of a good pinch, and that will burnish it. All right, again on this one, once you get it kind of folded over, it goes easily. That. Now on this one, I'm not going to do anything fancy on it. I've actually gone ahead and cut out some of these other dies that come with it. These great little flower, I guess they're kind of poinsettia dies. And I've cut out 2 in real red and 2 in basic white. And I'm just going to, that's what I'm going to decorate this one with. So again, I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue. And like I said, get one in place, hold it until it starts to stick, and then you can adhere the other one down. Otherwise it starts to slip out of place, and there we go. Just kind of hold it at the top in place like that. And then you can take and do the other side. You almost need a second pair of hands to do this. Hi, Kathleen. All right, and then holding 2 of them. Once they start to stick, you can actually hold it like that. Pinch it on the inside to make sure it's adhering. There we go. All right, so this one, as I said, I've got the lid coming down. I'm going to use these little flowers to decorate that one. And I've gone ahead and cut out a label. You can use these labels actually to hold the flap in place. It works really well. So I'll show you how to do that. All right, so that's that one. And then the last one is the designer series paper. Now this one, because it's the designer series paper, is not as thick as our cardstock, or certainly not as thick as the craft. Just be a little gentle when you're making it out of designer series paper, because it's just a little more delicate than cardstock for sure. And it's also, because of the pattern, it's just a little harder to see the scores. I saw somebody, I'm always amazed at how creative people are. I saw somebody make advent calendars out of these. So you can use the playful alphabet dies and cut out the numbers, and you could make 25 of these, all in different patterns and colors, and make an advent calendar out. Wouldn't that be fun? Especially if you had grandchildren. All right, but it would also make a great decoration for your house over Christmas. All right, let's put some liquid glue. That in, hold it in place until it starts to stick. Like that. And then fold over the other one. I do get glue all over my fingers. Yeah, oops, yeah, definitely got glue on my fingers there. There, so that one's sticking. Okay, so we're just gonna let that one sit for a minute. Let's go back to the red one that I did at the beginning. So I have, and I forgot a stamp, which is not good. I'll have to grab a stamp. Let's see, where is the gingerbread? There it is, right at the top. Now, I'm not sure that any of these, these don't fit. Well, I'm gonna have to find a stamp that will fit on here. I know which one, ouch, will fit. Stub my toe. Okay. I've got the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set that I know will fit. And so I'm going to stamp this cheers from our home to yours. And I've got some real red ink. And I'm just going to stamp. Ooh, just barely fits on this one, but it does fit. There we go. I know the Happy Holidays from the gingerbread fits. Okay. So I'm going to use some of, this is the mini ruffled ribbon. So you can put your treats inside and then just wrap this around. I'm gonna cut off this. If you wanted to, you could use some of the twine, the baker's twine. But I'm just going to take and tie a bow. And do that. There we go. And I'll fuss with that a little bit. There we go. Get a little bit smaller bow. Isn't that pretty? All right, so I will just trim this. That, and then I'm just going to use, got this. I'm just going to take my bone folder and curl this a little bit so it kind of curls the shape of the down here like that. And I'm going to just use a glue dot on this. I could use baker's twine and adhere it to my, or not adhere it, tie it to my other ribbon. But I'm just going to use a glue dot on the back of this. On like that. And then I've got these these are the gingerbread and peppermint acrylic shapes. So there are all sorts of different shapes here. And let's see, I might have used all the ones that look like little peppermint swirls. Those were my favorites. Okay, well, let's find another one. I'm going to use just a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm just going to put it right in that dot there. And those ones. Oops, there we go. So you can just kind of adhere it on and let it stick. So there's one. Okay, so now what have I got? Let's do this one. So this one, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to use ribbon to tie it. Actually, no, sorry, I'm not. I'm going to use this label that I've cut out, and I'm going to use the Happy Holidays from the gingerbread, or the frosted gingerbread stamp set, because I know it fits nicely on. And again, using real red ink. I'm just going to stamp that. There we go. And now if I use a dimensional on each end of this, you don't want to put it in the middle, but I'm going to put it on each end and put it so that, so if I hold it in place closed, I'm going to put it so that the two dimensionals are on either end, and then the front flap can just tuck down underneath and just hold it closed. Works very well. There we go. Now let's use some of these. You know, I make such a mess. I don't know how that happens. Okay, so now these great little, so there are 2 of the large flower dies and 2 of these smaller flower dies. So I've cut out 2 real red and 2 of the base out of basic white. So I'm going to just add a glue dot. And then we'll just put, they are very delicate, so be a little careful with them as you're adhering them on and getting them out of the dies. And then I'm just going to make, they kind of look like a poinsettia. It's probably what they're intended to be. And now let's, there are little tiny dots here. So I am going to just take again a little dot of the liquid glue and put on each of the flowers. And I'm going to pick up, whoopsie, one of the little circles in red. And hold it on. I do find that the acrylic shapes will hold nicely on with the multi-purpose adhesive glue. I'm always quite amazed because I once I make samples and things and they hang around for a while, I always think that it's just going to fall off, and they actually, this glue is pretty strong as long as you let it dry. So there's my one in craft, and then the only other one I have to decorate is this designer series paper. And I'm going to use the stamp that says, "Sending you peppermint kisses." And again, I'm going to stamp it in real red. Oops. And I'm going to cut it out using this label die. It's another one of the label dies that comes in with the dies. So I will just go here, just off camera, to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Oops. And cut that label out. If you wanted to, you could use some cardstock to put behind it. If you cut another piece out in, say, old olive cardstock, and then cut it in half, and you can then pop up half of it on each side so that it looks like it's, you know, you've got 2 different sizes of dies. That's one of my favorite techniques. But for this, I'm just going to use a dimensional on each end of this. Stick it down. And so get the flap down, and then this will hold that down in place as well. Actually, I probably need to have it up a little bit higher, I guess, so that it's held there. So it's definitely something now. Now the front flap will tuck under behind it. And you could tie if you wanted to. It won't work. You could decorate this up as well. Let's see. Tie a little. Just make a knot. So I've got about maybe 4 inches of ribbon. Just tie a little knot in it and then trim it. and use a glue dot on that. Quick way to just add a little bit of ribbon if you don't want to add a bow. There we go. Just put it right on the top like that. Okay, so I've got quite a selection of, let's bring them all back in. Some I'd made before. This one I had tied on the tag, and again I've used, that was one of the really cute little peppermint swirls, and then this one. So lots of ways you could do this. I do think the advent calendar would be adorable. All right. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, have a look at the dies. They're really fun to play with, and they'll make for great gift ideas, especially if you've got little things to give for Christmas, jewelry, even treats. This would be a great table setting. So Thanksgiving is this weekend in Canada. You could absolutely use these as a little table setting with a name on it. So that might be something. We're not having a Thanksgiving. It's just my husband and I this year. So we're not going to do the turkey thing. But anyway, Thanksgiving is this weekend here in Canada, and it's coming up in November in the US. So that might be an idea for your table, but or your Christmas table. All right, I will be on tonight is Stampin' Chat, so it's on Zoom, and the information will be on my Facebook group. If you'd like to join, just bring a project along and craft together for a couple of hours. Tomorrow I will be live at 12 noon Pacific with another project, and then of course on Tuesday night at 6:30 Pacific, it's a sketch challenge. So I hope you'll join me for some of those. If you're joining me through YouTube today, I'm glad you found me, and please take the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would very much appreciate that. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Happy stamping. Bye.